This is the Boston Celtics newsfeed on CLNS. Today is Tuesday, May 9th, 2017. This is Mike Walsh reporting for CLNS, the leading online provider of audiovisual coverage for the Boston Celtics. While there was no playoff game to speak of Monday night, it was still appointment viewing on TNT for Celtics fans. Kevin Garnett hosted an extended version of his Area 21 segment, both online and on TNT during the Warriors Jazz broadcast, in which he held a mini reunion for members of the 2008 championship team. Before we get to that, though, a quick reminder, CLNS will have video of player interviews from today's practices back home ahead of tomorrow night's Game 5. You can check out all that and more at youtube.com/CLNSmedia. KG was joined by Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, Kendrick, Perkins, and Glen Big Baby Davis on set, and the quartet was interrupted for a bit by head coach Doc Rivers via video conference. The guys joked and reminisced for a while. Most of the video is up on the NBA on TNT's YouTube page. With Rivers, they discussed their first meeting and getting together in Boston. Rivers had a great take on the 2007-08 team's preseason trip to Italy, saying, quote, "Those were amazing. You all being together, that starting group, but that second group started wrong because they didn't want to take your stuff. Paul probably called a foul that wasn't a foul and Rondo wanted the ball, but Eddie House and Posey and Baby and all them were like, you ain't getting it." And that set the tone right there. Rome was off the hook. It brought us together. We used the word Ubuntu and that sort of took over the team, end quote. The guys cracked jokes about Big Baby's meal habits, KG slapping food away from a team doctor who tried eating before the players, and an arm wrestling match between the two that Garnett won, much to everyone's surprise. They touched on the infamous Rondo-Doc feuds, and Rivers even dropped off a retirement gift for Pierce, a wheelchair that looked like the one he used in Game 1 of the 08 Finals. The big question of the night, though, was whether or not the group would talk about former teammate and major title contributor Ray Allen. That question was more than answered as they spent over 10 minutes discussing the situation that led to Allen's departure for the Miami Heat and how that made almost all of them feel. Garnett opened the segment saying, quote, "People don't realize that this is real life for us and the situation with Ray is really sensitive. When we all talked about doing this, we talked about the guys we considered loyal and part of this group. Just being honest, my 2 cents, when Ray decided to go to the Heat, he moved on, and that's it," end quote. Pierce added, quote, "I was initially hurt by the way everything went down. How we all came together and talked about it, talked every day, and hung out all the time, and then when it came time for free agency, I mean, to each his own in free agency, but we formed a brotherhood in Boston. I figured if it was me leaving, when Ray didn't give us the heads up about it, I would have took it better if he had just talked to us about it," end quote. Perkins and Davis agreed that it was more how Allen left than why or just the fact that he did. KG did tell the TNT crew later that he thought bridges would be mended eventually, and that time heals all wounds, but the group seems to think that Allen has to make the first move. Somewhat surprisingly, but then again not all that surprisingly, Rondo was mum throughout the entire segment and never truly gave his take on the situation. As the only panelist still active heading into the 2017-18 season, he was fairly silent on a lot of topics. The crew did touch on the current playoffs, but none of them thought either Washington or Boston could beat Cleveland in 7 games. The Golden State Warriors swept Utah in the second round with a 121-95 Game 4 victory. Steph Curry led the way with 30 points while Draymond Green notched a triple-double. Celtics-Wizards Game 5 runs Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Tune into the Celtics newsfeed early tomorrow morning for Josue Pavone's pregame show. Once again, though, guys, keep in mind that all video of today's post-practice pressers can be found at youtube.com/CLNSmedia. The only other active series in the NBA playoffs goes tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. The San Antonio Spurs return home tied 2-2 with the Houston Rockets. That game also airs on TNT. Celtics Newsfeed is being powered by the SeatGeek ticketing app, the smartest and easiest way to buy and sell sports and concert tickets. Get a $20 rebate on your first purchase by downloading the free SeatGeek app to your phone. Go to the settings tab and click add a promo code. Enter the code CELTSNEWS, that's CELTS News, all one word, for a $20 rebate, and so SeatGeek knows who sent you. To stay up to speed on the 17-time world champions, follow CLNS on Twitter at CLNS Media, and be sure to subscribe to the Celtics newsfeed, both on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as the CLNS Media Network's mobile podcast app. This has been Mike Walsh for Celtics Newsfeed.